Welcome to the final 2011 edition of the Butler Beat. I'm your host, Bri. With classes coming to an end and finals just around the corner, there is certainly no hiding the fact that this is among one of the most hectic and stressful times of the fall semester for both students and faculty. Adding even more to the stress level is the quickly approaching holiday season. Master's intern for Butler Counseling and Consultation Services, Jen Whipple, joins me today to help better address the stress levels people deal with this time of year. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Can you first tell me what is your role at the Counseling Center?
Well, as you said, I'm a master's intern, but that actually means that I do see clients. So I'm actually a therapist and do individual therapy and group therapy when need be, and also just different assessments. So
now, as you know, it's a really busy time around Butler right now because we're all gearing up for finals. So can you explain a little bit about the stress levels that students are feeling and what kind of a toll stress takes on the body, both mentally and physically?
Yeah, well, clearly students are going to be stressed out because you have papers due, you have finals. It seems like everything comes down to these last 2 weeks, and so and you're hoping that all your work for the semester pays off. Stress is a natural reaction that the body has. So, it's fight or flight. So for survival, you need to have stress. But physically, you'll notice that your muscles will start to tense. Sometimes your immune system is depleted a little bit, and you find yourself getting sicker. There's kind of shallow, fast breathing. You'll notice yourself breathing a lot faster. You have an increase in heart rate, sometimes easily fatigued, you'll have headaches, digestion issues. People start to notice they have an upset stomach. Those are just a few of the physical symptoms. For some people, they don't feel that at all. For some people, it's pretty intense. Mentally, people can lack concentration because they're sitting there focused on what could possibly go wrong, or they're doing a paper and, oh, but I gotta do this paper after that. And so they forget to kind of focus on the task at hand. People are more irritable. I think there's probably more roommates having little fights here and there because they're just on edge. It's harder to deal with the more common emotional problems. The littlest thing can set someone off, and there's just a lot more worry around this time of year. So that's typically what we see.
Now, do you see a lot of an increase in the amount of visitors that are coming to the counseling office for services?
It's interesting. Some college campuses might. The Butler community has been fairly steady. There hasn't really been a significant increase or a significant decrease at any point throughout this semester. I think because the students here are pretty driven, very driven from my perspective as an outsider. And so they come in and they're always stressed about how well they're doing. So in all honesty, I just asked about how many intakes we had, and those are new clients, and it's the same this week as it has been in the past. We tend to get more walk-ups, so we do have an option if someone is in need in the moment and they really have to come in. We have consultations and they have walk-up appointments, and so we tend to see some more of those, but for the most part it stays pretty consistent.
Now, what are some of the best ways for students, and even faculty for that matter, to cope with some of the stress that they're feeling right now? Is there some techniques that they can use? Oh,
absolutely. There's about as many techniques as there are people experiencing stress. It's really finding what works for you. What works for one person might not work for another. The common things, everyone hears about how important exercise is. Just getting the body's kind of natural endorphins working, and it helps improve immune function, and it actually is a natural de-stressor. Sometimes just taking a step away from things, giving yourself a break, and taking yourself out of the stressful situation and going for a walk or going to talk to a friend and just clearing your mind can help. I talked about how shallow breathing becomes an issue, and the body, that actually makes the body more stressed. So if you ever watch a baby when they're sleeping, their abdomens rise and fall, and that's how we should be breathing, but we tend to do it from our chest. So sometimes just taking a step back and for a minute, breathing in deeply and letting your belly rise and breathe slowly, and taking it, sometimes we take almost 30 breaths a minute, and it should really be close to 6 to 10. That actually, and your body will actually, over time, the more you practice that, be able to kind of regulate itself. So that's even a preventative measure. Things like yoga and what's the word I'm looking for? Progressive muscle relaxation where, you know, you go through a series while you're breathing of tightening the muscles and relaxing them. Because sometimes we just don't know what relaxed feels like. It's not until you tense them up and then let it go that all of a sudden you're like, oh, that's relaxed. And then the body knows, and that's something that as you practice it, can get better. And these aren't things that are one-time fixes. You have to do them over time. And those are just a few things. And a big thing, too, is to just recognize that you're stressed and be okay with the fact that it's a stressful situation, and it is for everyone.
Do you think it's ever possible to avoid stress at all? Or does that seem like a crazy question?
I wish I could tell you yes. Truth is no. And I hope that no one avoids stress, because at some point your life might be in danger. And if you're not stressed about it, well, good luck. So in reality, there is no avoiding stress. It's always coping with it. So
now, especially now with the holiday season quickly approaching, I know a lot of people get stressed for multiple reasons. Sometimes for the money. Sometimes when you go everywhere, there's traffic. There's so many people in stores when you're trying to do holiday shopping. So can you say like a couple of things about maybe how people can maybe alleviate the stress and help to really enjoy the holiday season instead of just being on edge all the time?
Yeah, I think you know, we can get we can get very focused on what we don't like about things and what's driving us crazy at the time, and you know, and maybe writing down what it is you're thankful for and what it is you do love about the holiday season, and focusing on those things and being present in the moment with those things. We're all gonna have to do stuff we don't like, whether it's, you know, be around the aunt that squeezes your cheeks too hard all the time, and you know, and the you know, and there's those crazy family members or whatnot, but recognizing what it is you do love about that stuff. And, you know, and if there is a way to avoid stress, if we're talking about the crazy shopping malls, online shopping.
That's a great point. That's an excellent point.
And these techniques can be brought into that too. If you find yourself in a stressful situation, take a step back, focus on your breathing, and yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate all the info that you've shared about this, and hopefully
absolutely.
students will learn how to better cope with their stress as they deal with the upcoming finals week.
Yes.
Before we break for a brief commercial, let's see what's going on in the Jordan College of Fine Arts this coming week. Now it's time to grab your calendars, because Krista Miller is here to give us the rundown on what's going on at Butler this coming week.
Thanks, Bri. Well, with finals coming to an end this weekend, there isn't a whole lot going on at Butler's campus, but you don't want to miss the Close the Gap Crossroads Classic on Saturday the 17th at Conseco Fieldhouse. Butler will take on Purdue at 2 p.m. and Indiana University faces Notre Dame at 4:30 p.m. You can visit ConsecoFieldhouse.com to purchase tickets. That same day, Butler's women's basketball will take on Marion at Hinkle Fieldhouse. The game begins at 11 a.m. Then on Tuesday, December 20th, Butler men's basketball will travel to Gonzaga for a game beginning at 9 p.m. Finally, on Wednesday, December 21st, women's basketball faces IUPUI at home. The Butler Winter Commencement Ceremony will take place on Sunday, December 18th. The procession begins at 2 p.m. and takes place in Clues Memorial Hall.
Thanks for tuning in this semester to the Butler Beat.
Be sure to tune back in next semester for a new Butler Beat show.
I'm Bri Seaver.
And I'm Krista Miller.
Stay festive, Butler. Good?